This is Lois Griffin, the supposed sane daughter of a billionaire. Wait until you see this.
How do you feel?
Horny. Really horny. Could you put him back so I can push him out again?
Granted, there are zero saints in Family Guy, but you'll expect the female characters to be better at least. Wrong! Sure, it's just a cartoon, but if they were real, many would belong in the darkest corners of a prison cell. So, here's my ranking of the worst female characters in Family Guy and the most diabolical things they've done, and trust me, it only gets worse from here. Starting with Barbara Pewterschmidt. At first glance, Babs might seem pretty tame, especially when you consider how loud and pompous her husband, the billionaire Carter Pewterschmidt, is. But, you know, despite all the money, it wasn't enough for Babs to stay loyal. Or maybe Carter just hadn't yet attained the B status, and so Babs decided that of all people she was going to cheat on Carter with, it was going to be Jackie Gleason.
Jackie Gleason?
Now, I'm not one to judge, okay? Okay, maybe I am. Because that's literally what this whole video is, but businessman Carter doesn't look to me like he's so great in that other department. But what makes Babs downright terrible is the fact that her little act is responsible for her son ending up in a psych ward.
That's a horrible story.
Yes, I was so traumatized they sent me here, and I guess they must have forgotten about me.
And not just that, it sent him down the path of becoming a serial killer, taking out fat folks because they triggered his PTSD. See how terrible that goes? And I'm pretty sure Babs never told the truth of why Patrick went psycho. She must have strung up some excuse, whatever sounded clean, instead of admitting she traumatized the poor boy. But that isn't even the worst of what Babs has done. Remember, I did say she wasn't loyal to Carter and only stuck around because he's rich. Well, in the episode Pewterotica, the second Carter went broke, Babs ditched him and ran straight to Ted Turner.
Your fat bastard husband ruined me. I lost my home, my money, and perhaps just as serious, my wife left me.
Mom left you?
Yeah, she ran off with Ted Turner. God only knows what they're doing.
Now, there's got to be a line of decency a mother-in-law should have. At least because she's older and should be wiser, but hell no! After Lois and Peter came up with the insane idea that the way to fix their marriage was for Peter to get a cheating pass, basically he could sleep with anybody to get even with Lois for hooking up with Bill Clinton, Peter decided he wanted Babs, and Lois went along with it. Now, as wild as that already is, you'd expect that at least when they came and propositioned Babs, she would reject it and call them out for being so insulting. Oh no, she was ready to get freaky with her son-in-law.
What's the best way to say this? Mom, would you have sex with Peter?
Of course, dear.
Really?
Carter's been most insufferable lately, and this would just stick in his craw.
Have some decency, woman. Staying married and loyal to Carter for the money, I can understand. Game is game. That's what the folks say nowadays. But being ready to go at it with Peter, her son-in-law, is just gross. And there's also what was done to poor Patrick. He deserved justice for that. I mean, Barbara could definitely be facing charges for child abuse resulting in serious mental harm. In fact, she would very much be guilty of contributing to the delinquency of a minor. But as we move to the next person on the list, Barbara now begins to look like a saint. And next on our list is a little meanie that's more terrible than how she looks, Connie D'Amico. Now, Connie might look like she's just a pretty face, but damn, this girl is mean, and mean is even a light word. She's cruel. Now, I know Family Guy has made it a running gag that everybody bullies Meg and we're supposed to cheer, yay! But Connie is Meg's classmate, and she's had a major hand in the trauma Meg's gone through. Connie isn't just the typical popular, pretty, and mean girl in high school. In the episode, and the wiener is, Meg decided to join the cheerleading squad but was accepted into the flag girl squad instead because that was where the uncool kids belong. At the game, she's drenched with rancid meat as some stupid prank.
This ought to knock her down a couple notches.
Yep, Connie was behind it. But then Meg follows a plan made by Lois and does nice things for Connie so that she could be nice to her in return. Upon learning that the next phase of Lois's plan was for Meg to get back at Connie for always being mean to her, Meg abandons the plan. However, just as it seems like Connie's being nice to Meg in return and even invites Meg to her birthday party, then she betrays Meg and sets her up to kiss a pig as everyone takes photos, humiliating her.
Okay, everyone get ready. Say hello to the lovers.
I don't know who should be more humiliated, Meg or the pig.
She's such a dork.
I think I feel worse for the pig.
How do you repay kindness with this? It's just plain evil. For a pretty girl, her heart is so dark. In another episode, she and her friends put the Ark of the Covenant in Meg's locker. When Meg opens it, her face melts off. But then cruelty is not all there is to her. She's also a pedophile. That's what I have to call it to still keep my channel up. In mixed strokes, Stewie Griffin disguises himself to join Meg's school and get in with the cool kids. But then Connie ends up dating him, and she was even about to go all the way with the little fella, only to stop when she realized, well, Stewie had a little fella.
Is there more underneath, or is that it?
I'm sorry?
Zach, just get the hell out of my car.
But hold up, does she know Stewie is a minor? A baby? The excuse would be that he was disguised, but do you think that's going to hold up in a court if it came down to it? And she didn't even keep it quiet. She ran to school and told everybody, only for Stewie to peel off the disguise and scream that Connie just made out with a nude baby. Exactly.
Look! This girl is making out with a baby! A nude baby!
Hey!
That's right. To hell with you all!
Good thing the cops swooped in that fast to cuff her. And if it wasn't enough, Connie later faked her death and framed Lois for it. She killed a pig, dressed it up like her, and then hacked Lois's Facebook to tarnish her image before Lois got arrested. Why? Because Connie claimed Lois got her expelled. That's not petty, that's criminal mastermind behavior. I told you guys, she might have a pretty face, but Connie D'Amico is dangerous and wicked. But if we're talking about a literal, dangerous, wicked, and abusive character, then that is Karen Griffin. Karen is a big bully. Professionally, she's a pro wrestler going by the name Heavy Flow, and just so you know, she chose that part because, well, it meant she would have more people to bully officially. But who she decides to give the smackdown to in the ring is her business, and there is absolutely no crime in that. But where I draw the line is her being responsible for Peter turning out to be an abusive scumbag because of the treatment he endured at her hands growing up. So in the episode Peter's Sister, Peter got an email that Karen Griffin was spending Thanksgiving at their house, and the news didn't please him at all. Karen showed up at the door, and it was just a trigger for Peter throughout. Not only did she embarrass him with stories of their youth and how she terrorized him as a kid, but during a family football game, Karen knocked Peter almost senseless and pulled her signature wrestling move on him.
Oh my god, she's doing the toxic shock!
Karen completely terrorized Peter to the point that his stutter came back and he peed himself. Now, because of this constant bullying, Meg comes to the realization that Peter treats her that way because of how Karen treated him as a child. This is the part where it didn't make sense. Because the thing with Karen Griffin is that there was no prior episode at all that hinted a person like her even existed. It seems she was just brought in to give Peter some villain justification arc so that we feel for his story. Like that's supposed to make him being a grown-up sociopath better. But I would have moved on just fine until Meg went to Peter sulking and he accidentally slipped up and mentioned what Karen had done to him.
Look, I just want you to know I feel bad about what happened with you and Aunt Karen the other day.
Oh, you mean when she put me in that no-bottom James Bond chair and assaulted my grundle?
I didn't even know about that.
Well, that's because it didn't happen. I'd kick her ass if she tried something like that.
Dad, stop.
In that no-bottom James Bond chair and assaulted my grundle. Now, if you don't get it, not to go all sciencey on you, but grundle is a slang term for the perineum, the sensitive area between the genitals and the anus. And this statement from Peter is a reference to a scene in the James Bond film Casino Royale, where the character, Le Chiffre, tortures Bond using the described chair and a heavyweight rope.
You are a funny man, Mr. Bond.
Peter just stated that that's what Karen did to him. That goes beyond just bullying territory. It's not even just physical abuse and torture, but sexual torture because it specifically targets the genitals and perineal area, which makes it sexual in nature, even if the abuser's goal is pain rather than gratification. And there's no way Karen just did that to Peter and got off scot-free. It was just monstrous and, I mean, downright sick. But as tough as Karen was with her fists, the real abuse of power Peter faced didn't come from family, it came from his own boss. Angela was Peter's boss at Pawtucket Brewery. Normally, she wouldn't even make this list, because compared to others, she seemed pretty tame. She was just the strict, weird boss Peter had to deal with. But then came the episode Peter asked Meg, and honestly, that one episode ruined her completely. So, Peter shows up for work with contact lenses, and suddenly in Angela's eyes, Peter is the hottest guy she's ever set eyes on. She might just have been the one in need of contacts.
I like what I see.
Okay.
Oh, no. I dropped my pencil.
Oh, I'll get it for you.
Yeah, This is gonna work out just fine.
Everyone gets crushes once in a while, but Angela did not only become infatuated with Peter, she pushed hers into full-blown harassment. Oh, that's why the episode is Peter harassment. She starts putting him in strange situations, asking for weird favors, and making Peter so uncomfortable he doesn't even know what to do, and she probably anticipated that because she made her instructions pretty clear.
Oh, God. I really hope there's a hungry horse back there.
No, Peter, there wasn't a hungry horse back there. Her request got weirder and weirder to the point that it was not only happening during office hours. She even had the guts to call Peter when he was at home to make another request.
Give me that. Why are you calling me at home?
I want to hear you breathe. Breathe into the phone for me, Griffin. It turns me on. That's it, Griffin. Keep breathing.
Did she just use Chris breathing to... I'm face-palming so hard right now. But where it got worse was when Peter tried refusing her request and Angela flat out threatened him. If he didn't go along with her, she'd fire him, so she invites him over for a special project. Peter at this point is pretty much in panic mode. He talks it over with the guys at the Drunken Clam, and Quagmire agrees to help Peter out. But here's got to be the crazy part. Quagmire, who will literally sleep with anyone, takes one look and says, "No thanks." If Quagmire won't go through with it, you know the situation is beyond messed up. Peter finally decides he can't put up with it anymore and quits.
Griffin, you have sex with me or you're fired.
Fine, fire me. I'm through being harassed by you.
Bravo, Peter, you finally did one right thing in your life. However, it gets weirder and more disturbing when Angela is so devastated by Peter's rejection that she locks herself in her room and even tries to take her own life. The writers then throw in an explanation that she's just lonely, single for too long, and desperate. But that doesn't excuse her. Lots of people are lonely. They don't use their powers to harass people at work. Angela was a predator, plain and simple, and if this wasn't a cartoon, she would just be Peter's weird boss. She'd be facing real sexual harassment charges in court, and that is exactly why she earns her place as one of the worst female characters in Family Guy. But if we're talking about the worst female character in Family Guy, a very strong contender on this list has got to be Lois Griffin. Because of how Peter is an absolute menace, it seems Lois is a sane one. But hell no, she is terrible, and this isn't hating. Lois has done real diabolical things that just get swept under the carpet. The worst part, she doesn't take accountability for anything at all and would always end up blaming it on Peter. First, she has got to be the worst mom. She tried half of Brian's painkillers and got hooked. Then she went out to meet high school kids to sell some to her. When that didn't work out, she got back home, placed Stewie in the bathtub, and turned down the house looking for one. But when she finally found it, it dropped into the toilet. Lois then had the guts to force Stewie down the toilet to fetch it for her.
You know how Teacher Amy has you dive for rings? Well, this is like that, except it's a pill, and it's not okay if you don't get it.
Ah, damn you!
Come on, you just touched it!
This woman joins in being mean and cruel to Meg, and even one time goes as far as asking her to unalive herself by throwing a bottle of Ambien pills. When Meg finally landed a boyfriend that was normal and pretty much into her, everything would have gone alright if Lois didn't start thirsting for the young dude. Ask her what the reason was, and it was some lame excuse of how she was feeling old, but the young man's compliment made her feel young. So Lois, having no moral decency at all, would go as far as watching him and Meg make out.
I bet you taste like Mountain Dew and Starburst.
And when that wasn't enough, she came up with an errand to send Meg out of the house, and the moment she was out of the door, she swooped in. Meg walked back into the house to find her mom making out with her boyfriend.
Mom, I forgot my keys. Do you know where...
Rape?
But the absolute sick part, if I go by Family Guy logic, Meg was declared to be 18 in the season 10 episode Quagmire and Meg. This particular episode where Lois made out with Meg's boyfriend was in season 8, so she wasn't 18 yet, which means Meg's boyfriend was probably the same age as Meg. That means, yes, Lois got involved with a minor. And yes, this is something she has done over and over again. Another time, feeling insecure about her age again, she declared to become a Justin Bieber fan. She then went backstage and tried to force herself on the poor boy.
I'm Stifler's mom.
Still, no idea.
Okay, just get your pants off, hon.
Stop right there!
Someone get this woman in cuffs. Lois is just so hypocritical in her reasoning that when she got blackmail for an adult film she did in the past, she decided to get ahead of the blackmail. She released the tape in church.
I made a simple mistake, and here it is.
And yes, kids were in the congregation. What the hell was she thinking? I could go on, and I will. Lois once called out Quagmire for being a creep. But remember earlier when I brought up how Connie was mean to Meg and made her kiss a pig? Yup, Lois' revenge for what those kids did to Meg was to get Quagmire to scar them for life.
Well, I figured you might get soft on me, so I hired an old friend to scar them for life.
Hey there, sweetie.
This same Quagmire.
Dear Diary, jackpot.
That's who Lois sent to go teach Connie a lesson. Lois Griffin isn't just flawed or complicated, she's flat out dangerous, going after her own daughter's underage boyfriend and even trying to force herself on Justin Bieber. That makes her a pedophile by definition. Sending Quagmire after those high school teens, that makes her a too. And if this were real life, she wouldn't be sitting in that Quahog living room, she'd be sitting in a prison cell. Another female worst character is also a terrible mom, but not just that, she's responsible for the sexual deviant that her son grew up to be. That is Crystal Quagmire. Mrs. Crystal Quagmire is the mother of Glenn Quagmire, and when they say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, whatever Quagmire is, her mother was the source of it. I mean, Quagmire admitted so himself.
You've never apologized once for the way you raised me. You're the one who made me what I am.
And to let you know just how gross and terrible his chase was, it started right from when he was born. He was literally born 9 times in the most diabolical way ever.
How do you feel? Horny. Really horny. Could you put him back so I can push him out again?
I was born 9 times that day.
I guess that's why he got nerfed to be a cat lover. Please tell me y'all got that. But it didn't stop with him being born. Growing up with Crystal as a mom was just another trauma. As a kid, Quagmire practically learned his ABC alphabets by reciting the names of his different lovers.
The only way I learned my ABCs was by learning the names of all the guys my mom slept with. Art, Bob, Chet, Don, Ed, Frank, Gus, Hal, Irv, John, Ken, Lou, Matt, Ned, Oxpat.
And so you can just imagine how all of that influenced him. But it seems Crystal Quagmire has even at some point committed with Quagmire. In the episode, Brian the Bachelor, Quagmire is one of the 2 finalists on the TV show, The Bachelorette. He takes Brooke Roberts home to meet his mother, but while there, he tells his mother to stop screaming at him about feeding the cat Mittens, but Quagmire had something else to add.
Mittens, shut up!
Don't you talk to Mittens that way! Mittens is a member of this family!
Mom, you want this 3-way to happen, you're gonna have to change your tone.
Such a casual statement can only come from if there have been cases like that before in the past, and with how deviant both of them are, I do not put it past either of them to have done stuff like that. When Quagmire was on trial and sentenced to prison for 20 years after being taken to court for being involved with an underage girl, Crystal arrived in court and claimed to be born again. She even tried to get Quagmire to convert to Christianity, like if birthing him 9 times was not enough already. Quagmire was already so mad at her and rejected her words.
How dare you come in here and tell me to seek forgiveness? Where do you get off?
I mean, the man was facing a prison sentence. Just before he reports to prison, the judge arrives and announces that he has commuted Quagmire's sentence, thanks to his mother's talents and how new evidence came up.
Mom? What's going on here? By the way, Your Honor, your fly is down.
Well, let's just say some new DNA evidence was produced.
And an impressive amount, I'd say.
That's Crystal. She said she was doing it to save Quagmire, but it doesn't mean she gets off easy. You think Quagmire's bad? Look at who raised him. Crystal isn't just part of the problem, she is the problem. And that rightly makes her one of the show's worst female characters. But this next character gets under the radar a lot, even when she can be just as gross and even abusive too. Meg Griffin. For someone who's been bullied and abused so much, Meg has also committed her fair share of criminal acts that make it hard to feel even a shred of pity for her. At some point, a girl should have some self-dignity and respect, but Meg goes full cringe mode like she doesn't even realize how terrible it makes her look. Take the time when she developed a crush on Joe Swanson. She decided the best way to get Bonnie out of the picture was to plant a gun in her travel bag and have her arrested at the airport. Like, girl, how desperate do you have to be? Then she started spending close time with Joe and babysitting Susie. It got so bad that she even started wearing Bonnie's clothes.
Hi, honey.
What? What'd you say?
I just said hi.
Is that Bonnie's dress?
Oh, yeah.
There's already a lot to unpack here, but the dinner scene makes this pale in comparison. It was the worst thing I've ever seen. While arguing with Joe, Susie starts crying, and Meg picked her up, cradled her in her arms, and then tried to breastfeed her.
Great! Now you've upset the baby.
Oh, God! Oh!
What in the actual hell was that? But somehow, that wasn't even the worst. Another time, Meg fell head over heels for Ken, a new kid at the school. She fantasized endlessly about him, only to find out, humiliatingly, that he wasn't into her at all. He was into Chris. Instead of handling the rejection, Meg cooked up a disturbing plan. She wanted Chris and Kent to hook up so she could live through it by having Chris narrate every detail to her. No way Chris was going to go along with that. So Meg came up with a solution to force him. Her plan? Drug Chris and knock him out. She even went to Quagmire to ask for roofies.
Hi, Mr. Quagmire.
What can I do for you?
I was wondering if I could borrow some roofies?
Oh, sure. Just a sec. Roofies, huh? Pretty big pill for such a little girl.
Yeah, I know.
Thankfully, she snapped back to reality before going through with it, but still, just the attempt was criminal. And then there was her crush on Brian. Brian, not a person, a dog, because he took her to a school dance so she wouldn't feel lonely. She latched onto him after a drunken kiss, but instead of moving on, Meg went full psycho. She kidnapped Brian, tied him up, and was ready to have her way with him.
Are you ready?
For what?
For the fun we're gonna have, Brian. We're gonna have fun tonight. Good, old-fashioned, all-American fun.
And the lowest of the low? When she had Stewie watch her sex tape. Afraid of being eaten alive by a school bully, Meg thought the best way to get expelled was to record and upload an adult video of herself, even though she wasn't 18. Her hope was that the video would go viral and get her kicked out. Instead, it only got one view, and that one view was poor Stewie.
Come on, really? Ooh.
You know what? Good for her.
This makes Meg guilty of not only creating child porn, but also distributing it. And that's not just distributing, it's a full-blown serious criminal offense. But her madness didn't stop there. She traumatized Stewie in other ways too. Once, while working as a waitress, she went on a whole streak pretending Stewie was her drug-addicted, dog food-fed baby just to milk customers for pity tips. And what did she blow the money on? A designer bag. By the end of it all, CPS showed up and actually took Stewie away.
Is Meg Griffin here?
No, she's not.
Probably out scoring more rock. Sandy Belfort, Child Services. We're placing this baby in a foster home.
What?
For God's sake, feed me!
Let me guess. All out of puppy chow? What an awful home for a child.
I am not going to bring up the fact that it's been hinted at that she and Chris do go down the Cersei and Jaime Lannister road a couple of times. At this point, Meg doesn't get any empathy from me. She's just as terrible as the people that bully her. But someone who actually met his match and totally wished he didn't was Quagmire. And that's because of how downright worse she was compared to him. That was Quagmire's very own Quagmire, Sonya. So Quagmire got his hands on a laptop and started checking out some sites. And his laptop crashed. Then he takes the laptop to go fix it, and that's where he meets Sonya. Pretty face, cute smile, and to make things better, they have the same interest. Soon they go out on a date, and it seemed to go pretty well until Quagmire wakes up cuffed to a bed. Except he couldn't remember any details from last night.
Did we? I don't really remember, but I do feel like I might be down a couple of quarts.
Well, even though you seemed like a sure thing, I really wanted to make sure.
Oh my God! You roofied me?
Turns out he got a taste of his own medicine. Don't let her pretty voice fool you. Drugging someone is never cool. It's criminal. I know Family Guy likes to play this type of moment for laughs. That was straight up. And Quagmire, who seemed excited about meeting someone as degenerate as him, was surely going to learn soon enough that there truly have to be some limits on his type of stuff. Because he absolutely couldn't keep up. I mean, Sonya was out here out-giggiting him.
Oh, wow, I can't even imagine what twisted, deviant act you've thought of this time.
I want you to have sex with your father.
What?
So, there are some lines Quagmire wouldn't cross. Interesting. Sonya was just operating on a frequency that Quagmire couldn't match. And hello, this is Quagmire we're talking about. The entire relationship left him in pain. Quagmire was literally traumatized.
Oh my God!
Quagmire, what the hell happened?
Is this another one of those sex-related injuries you keep getting?
Yeah, it seems like lately that girlfriend of yours is taking things a little too far.
No, she's not. Everything's great with us.
Damn, it just makes you wonder what Sonya has Quagmire going through that he's so afraid to speak up. Do I have to say a word? It's sexual abuse. That Sonya had a whole Quagmire questioning his very own view of consent.
Come on, Sonya. How about we take a night off, huh? The sex has just been nonstop. I mean, I understand that no doesn't mean no, but certainly some word has got to mean no.
This is one of your fantasies, right?
Okay, that's it. She's evil. She's the worst. If she could get Quagmire to come down to such a humiliating point like this, then you get to feel bad for him.
Sonya, stop, please!
Come on, you love it.
she had Quagmire completely locked away in a storage unit, and thank goodness Joe, Peter, and Ida showed up just in time to take Sonya down and save Glenn. I mean, if she could break Quagmire of all people, she deserves a round of applause. And then a one-way ticket to the darkest corner of a prison cell. But if you thought this video was insane, check out the next one about Quagmire's entire story to know why he is as wild as he is.